Hi everyone, and welcome back to First the Coffee Crochet. In this crochet tutorial, we're going to go over how to make a quick and easy hanging storage basket. Now this pattern stitches up really quick. The only stitches you need to know to do this is the half double crochet, single crochet, how to make a chain, and how to do a slip stitch. I initially made this to store some yarn in. I managed to fit about 8 skeins of Heartland yarn into one. It's also a great option to store other things that are lightweight, such as stuffed animals. So this pattern is in US terms, and it is worked in the round. If you want to change the height, you just change the number of times that you do the repeat row. And if you want to change the width, you can adjust the amount of times that you do increases with the half double crochet rounds before you start doing the chain space rounds. The initial chains at the start of each row do not count as a stitch, and the finished size, when laid out, is 12 inches tall by 13 inches wide, but this does stretch a lot, so that's not your final size. So to make this, you're going to need about 175 yards of a number 4 medium weight yarn. Cotton yarn is best, but you could use acrylic if you want. So when I made this, I did use 2 different types of yarn. For the turquoise one, I used the Mainstays 100% cotton yarn that I got at Walmart, which is really good yarn for a really cheap price. Another one, I used one skein of Lion Brand's Made with Love yarn. I was just trying that one out, not too impressed with it. You'll also need a 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle to weave in your ends, and stitch markers are a good idea to help keep track of the repeat rounds. As always, there is a written version of this pattern available on my website, and I'll leave a link for that down in the description below. Let's go ahead and get started on this hanging basket. To start out, we'll want to create our slip knot. And for our foundation chain, we're going to make a chain of 4. Now we're going to use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch, and we're going to make a ring with this. Right, so for round 1, into this ring, we're going to do 10 half double crochet stitches. So we're going to start out round 1 by chaining 1. This won't count as a stitch. And then we're just going to do 10 half double crochets, and to do that, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all 3. Just do that 9 more times. After you have 10 half double crochets into that ring, we're going to use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch together. Okay, for round 2, we're going to be doing 2 half double crochets into each stitch. So you'll end up with 20 stitches after you're done with this. So to start out round 2, we'll chain 1. And again, this won't count as a stitch, so we'll be starting in this first stitch here. We're just going to do 2 half double crochets into that stitch. And then 2 half double crochets into each stitch all the way around. Okay, at the end of round 2, you should have 20 stitches going all the way around. Just like before, we're going to use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch together. For round 3, we're going to be alternating 2 half double crochets into a stitch and 1 half double crochet into a stitch. So to start out round 3, we're going to chain 1, and then starting in that first stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 1 half double crochet. And we're just going to alternate that all the way around, 2 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet. When you get to the end of the round, you should end with 1 half double crochet in the last stitch, and you'll have 30 stitches going all the way around. And then at the end of this round, just like before, we're going to use a slip stitch to join this last and first stitch. Now you should have 30 stitches going all the way around. For round 4, we're going to be doing 2 stitches of 1 half double crochet in each of those, and then 1 stitch of 2 half double crochets. So you'll start out by chaining 1, then starting in that first stitch we're going to do 1 half double crochet. Right, and in the next stitch we're going to do another half double crochet. Right, and then in the next stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets. Okay, and we're just going to repeat that, so over the next 2 stitches, 1 half double crochet in each of those. And then in that following stitch, 2 half double crochets. Just repeat that all the way around. The last stitch of the round should be 2 half double crochets, and that'll increase your stitch count to 40. Right, and just as before, at the end of round 4, we're going to use a slip stitch to join our last and first stitch together. For round 5, we're going to be increasing one more time, and for this round, we're going to start in this first stitch, so you'll chain 1. We're going to do 2 half double crochets. Now over the next 3 stitches, we'll be doing 1 half double crochet in each of those. And now we'll just repeat this all the way around. In the following stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets, and then in the next 3 stitches after that, 1 half double crochet in each of those. And this will bring your stitch count up to 50 for this round. And at the end of this round, we're going to do a slip stitch again to join the last and first stitch together. For round 6, we're going to start doing a single crochet and chain spaces. So to start out for this round, we're going to chain 1, and again this won't count as a stitch, so we're going to do a single crochet into this first stitch here. Then we're going to chain 2, skip the next stitch, then in the following stitch do a single crochet. And that's all this round is a chain 2, skip a stitch, and then do a single crochet in the following stitch. And just continue that all the way around. Okay, at the end of this round, you should have the chain 2 and then your last stitch here, and we'll be skipping over that. And we're just going to use a slip stitch to join this chain 2 to that first single crochet that we did. So you should have 25 chain spaces going all around here. Now for round 7, we're going to slip stitch into this next chain space. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do a single crochet into that same chain space. Then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do a single crochet into the following chain space. And that's all you do for round 7 is chain 2 and then single crochet into the next chain space. Okay, after your last chain 2 of the round, you'll skip over this last stitch and just use a slip stitch to join our first stitch to our chain 2. Okay, for rounds 8 and 9, we're going to slip stitch into the next chain space one time. And then we're going to chain 1, we're going to do a single crochet into that same chain space, and then we're going to chain 3, and then do a single crochet into the next chain space, chain 3, single crochet into the next chain space. And that's all you're going to do for rounds 8, and again for round 9 you'll repeat the same thing. And when you get to the ends of rounds 8 and 9, you'll have the last chain 3 and that first single crochet. You're just going to use a slip stitch to join the two together. For rounds 10 and 11, we're going to do the same thing like we did before, but instead of 3 chains, we're going to be making a chain of 4. So you'll slip stitch into the next chain space, you'll chain 1, and then you'll do a single crochet into that same chain space. And then we're going to chain 4. And then into the next chain space, we're going to do a single crochet. You'll just repeat this all the way around. And at the end of these rounds, we're going to use a slip stitch like before to join the last chain to the first single crochet. And you'll do this for rounds 10 and 11. And at the end of these rounds, just as before, we're going to do the last chain 4 and then use a slip stitch to join that chain to the first single crochet of the row. Okay, now for rounds 12 through 27, we're going to be doing the same thing like we've done for these previous rows, but we're going to be doing a chain of 5. And for these rounds, we'll start off with 2 slip stitches into the next chain space to work our way across that chain space. Then we'll chain 1, and then we'll do a single crochet into that same chain space. Now on these rounds, I do like to use a stitch marker to help just keep track, because when you're getting into these net-like stitches, it can get a little eye-boggling to count rows without these stitch markers. So I just like to put one in the first single crochet of each of these rounds. So after that single crochet, you're going to chain 5. And then we're going to do a single crochet into the next chain space. And that's all these rounds are, is 5 chains. And then a single crochet into the next chain space. And just like before, we'll join the last chain to the first single crochet in the round when we get around to the end of the round. Once you're at the end of round 27, for round 28, we're going to be doing single crochets into these chain spaces. And we'll be doing 4 single crochets into each chain space. And you have a total of 25 chain spaces, so at the end of this round, you'll have 100 stitches all the way around. So to start out for round 28, we're going to chain 1. And then starting in this first chain space, we're just going to do a single crochet 4 times. Skip over this stitch and then just go right into the next chain space and do 4 more single crochets. And just do this all the way around. 4 single crochets into each chain space. Okay, at the end of this, once you've done the last 4 single crochets in that last chain space, we're just going to use a slip stitch to join these 2 stitches together. Now for rounds 29 and 30, all we're going to be doing is a single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So to start out these rounds, you'll chain 1, and then starting in that first stitch, you're just going to do a single crochet. Then just do a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And each of these rounds will be joined at the end using a slip stitch like we've done previously. Right, just like before, we're going to use the slip stitch to join these rounds. So after you've completed round 30, for round 31, we're going to start making our handle where we'll be able to hang this. So we'll do a chain of 15. Now if you want a bigger handle, you can make a longer chain. You can adjust that to however you would like. So after we have our chain of 15, we are going to skip 10 stitches. Okay, and then in that next stitch, we're just going to do a single crochet stitch. And then we're just going to continue doing single crochets all the way around, 1 in each stitch. Okay, so once you come back around, and you're at the base of the handle that you made, you'll just join that with a slip stitch. Now for our next round, we're going to be doing single crochets all around, and we're going to be starting with 15 single crochets around this chain. Now if you made the chain bigger, you just do however many chains you did, that's how many single crochets you'll do. So we'll start out by chaining 1, and then we'll just do our 15 single crochets around this chain. Okay, and then after we've done our single crochets around the chain, we're just going to start in this first stitch here, And we're just going to continue to do single crochets in each stitch all the way around like we've done before. Okay, at the end of round 32, we're going to use a slip stitch again to join our last and first stitch. For round 33, it's going to be our last round for this basket. We're just going to start out by chaining 1, and we'll be starting in that first stitch. We're just going to do a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Okay, and at the end of round 33, just going to go ahead and use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch. You can go ahead and fasten off and weave in your ends. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed these tutorials, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified as new tutorials come out.